Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Pantsu here, and today we're going to be talking about a new topic that I've been meaning to talk to you guys about. It's a new project, and it's called The Good, the Bad, and the Blank. Like what we've been. The last video that I did about this was about the YouTube guidelines, and it was a pretty interesting video to say the least. I was pretty angry at the moment, but not blindly angry, but angry as in the fact that YouTube just screwed up. And it was crappy, but it's okay. It's okay. We're surviving, we're striving, and we just gotta keep on working, and that's the best thing. But enough of that bullcrap. What we're gonna be talking about here is the new series, and I've decided to make it a series, a reoccurring one, the good, the bad, and the blank. And this week, we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the not scary. We're going to be talking about horror and how it evolutionized. I can't talk, as always. But we're going to be talking about horror and how it evolutionized over the years. How modern horror is practically not scary anymore. It's not what it used to be. Why did it lose its touch? Why is it no longer the same thing? Is it because we're just that hard to get? Or is it because they're not even trying that hard? The producers, the actors, the directors, the story writers, what's going on? Who's at fault here? Is it us that we're just too good? Or that we're numb to it, that we got used to it? Or is it because they're just not putting enough effort as it was back then? So then now just what I can say is sit back, relax, and enjoy this banter, my people. So, first thing that we're going to be talking about is the good always, because the good comes first. Why? Because I just find it much more easier talking about the good stuff than the bad stuff. Because, again, it's my opinion, so it tends to be controversial when people throw opinions, especially in 2018, because an opinion can offend you now. So, oh crap, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry about that. But oh well. Oh yeah, the good. So, what's a good point that I can give out to modern horror today and age that it's definitely there? Well, one thing that I can do say is the CGI that's behind it. You know, the all the computer generated scenarios, the background, the creatures themselves, the demons, the makeup artists are phenomenal. Visually, the horror movies are very pleasing. They nail it, especially with the use of modern technology and modern makeup. Everything that's done is done pretty. It's done very well. They nail it. But if you think about it, the grand scheme of things, what you see doesn't really affect you that much. You need to have a little bit more background into it. You need to know a little bit more. You have to get disturbed. You got to get creeped out. And that's something that a lot of horror movies have forgotten. Modern horror movies. And that's what we're going to be talking about further down. But again, I think at the moment that's the only good point that I can give them. That visually, the horror movies are on point. Horror movies and horror video games also. Visually, they're on point and they're pretty good. It's fantastic. Now, unfortunately, that's the only good thing. Oh, and that through modern time, all the technology advancement and all that, a lot of people, a lot of indie or independent people, directors and all that, actors, they can make their own stuff. It's much more accessible and easier for them to make their own horror skits, movies, mini shows, whatever you want to call it. It's much more easier for them now to make it with all the modern technology that's out there. So that's another good thing, because a lot of indie artists that make a lot of good stuff, it's just so amazing. It's actually even better sometimes than Hollywood itself. So those are my major points on what's good and what I think is what they're doing the best at the moment for horror movies and horror games. Now we're going to be talking about yay, the bad. So, what's bad about horror movies today and age? What do they lack? Why are they not as scary as they were back then? Well, it's because they lack substance. They lack the ambiguity. They lack mystery. They lack a lot of things. Horror can be a lot of things, it can be horror drama, horror action, horror comedy, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, pure horror is what gets you. And it's what a lot of people have forgotten about pure horror. Like, let's take, for example, um, The Exorcist. That one. That's the prime example of an amazing horror movie done right. Let's dig in a little bit more deeper on it. What's it about The Exorcist? Well, a girl gets possessed, girl does weird stuff, a lot of things happen. They don't understand what's going on with her. They take her to doctors and all that. They don't know what's up with this little girl, why she's acting so weird. Then they find out she's possessed. Then the final part, exorcism, and then end movie. That's all there is to it. Pretty simple, ain't it? So why was it so scary? Why did it kill a lot of people? Like heart attacks, give them heart attacks mid-scene, or just overall traumatize them? Because one of those people was my grandma. She saw it in the movie theater with my grandpa, and she was traumatized afterwards when it came out. So why, oh why, was it so scary? Because it's unexplainable. What's the biggest fear in all of humanity? What do humans fear the most? The fear of the unknown. And that's something that horror movies have forgotten. They try to explain everything in a scientific or in a way that's convenient to the plot, where you just automatically understand it and you're like, oh, well, okay, now I know. There's no mystery, there's no ambiguity behind it. Yeah, the visuals can be scary, they can jump scare you, and they can make you go, ooh, and maybe have a nightmares for a few days at most. But what happened to it being a long-lasting effect? The ambiguity, where you think about it and you're still going, how does this make sense? All that, but in a good way, not the Sharknado way. That one just doesn't make sense, and that's just plain out stupid. I don't even know why it's classified as a horror movie. That was a disaster. But aside from that mistake of a movie, the horror movie genre so far, what it has, it's just that it's lost its touch of ambiguity. It's atmospheric surroundings. That's what defines it also. Like the movie The Witch, or Witch, however you want to pronounce it, because it's double V. That one, there's absolutely nothing that jump scares you. But when I saw it, there were moments where I was just closing my eyes, and even though I knew nothing was going to jump out, I was still closing my eyes and didn't want to see some areas because it was just so freaky. It was the atmosphere surrounding it was so intense. The feeling, the suffocating feeling, the pure dread and horror and despair that you feel was so surreal, and it was transmitted amazingly. That's a good piece of pure horror that was done through the movie called The Witch. And honestly, it's something that a lot of horror movies lack today and age. It's just pure visuals, a crappy plot, the plot gets resolved, and then happy ending. There you go. It's lost its touch. That's all that I can say. And a good piece, if you're not into the movie wise, but more into manga comic side, one that I can recommend you is Junji Ito. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, but he is the father of horror mangas. Ah, I'm so sorry, can't talk. So he's honestly one of the best. That if you want to see something that's disturbing, that's going to, get you grossed out, or something that's just gonna freak you out and give you nightmares, Junji Ito is the man that you have to go see and read his stuff. At the moment, there's an anime airing about him, but so far I've only seen the first episode, so I really can't judge it that well. But from the first episode, they're adapting it pretty badly. Like it's not horrible, but it's not scary. It's losing its essence. What made a Junji Ito manga, which is the ambiguity, the mystery, you know, that's one thing that I believe every good horror should have. Because if you try to explain everything, and if you try to map it out for the people and just baby them, it's gonna lose its effect, and it's gonna lose its punch. But if you go in pure dread, pure despair, pure horror, and pure ambiguity, leaving it up to the person to make up their own stuff, not only does that fuel their creativity, but it also fuels their nightmares. It's a win-win. And the reason that I have to say this is because, again, I go back to my statement that one of the biggest fears in human nature is the fear of the unknown. And that's something that needs to be utilized a lot more in today's modern horror. The Witch I think it was a low budget movie from what I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that it was a low budget horror movie. But it was so well done. It was just amazing. It, the movie It, another great modern horror movie. They nailed it. They had the perfect balance of lighthearted moments, some moments that are just flat out disturbing, and some other moments where you're just like, someone change my diaper, please. I crapped myself. They did it just right. If I can recommend you any two modern horror movies that are genuinely spot on and that actually got me, are It and The Witch. Those two movies are pretty high up there, but if I have to recommend the top of the top, for me was The Witch. Honestly, that movie it freaked me out so much, and it was one of those few movies where literally nothing happens. Like, there's no ghosts, no demons, no jump scares. It's just pure dread and horror. And only in the end there's like that supernatural essence, but it still makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. It's ambiguous, It's up to the person. And that's what I like. It fuels creativity. So, I think I've been rambling on way too much right now, so what's your opinions, guys? What is your opinion on modern horror? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it not scary? Is it scary? What do you guys think of modern horror movies, modern horror video games, and all that good stuff? Have they improved over the years? Over the years? Or have they declined and became less scary? Or is it just us? Are we just so used to it that we've become numb to it? So, I'm interested to see what you guys think. This is what this segment is all about. Hearing what you guys have to think. What you guys think. What the hell is wrong with me? Yeah. Hearing what you guys have to say and all that. So, I want to use this series as a more serious one, something more as discussion, something where we can just share our opinions, our thoughts, and what we like, what we think could have been better, what we think what was bad, what we think was meh, something where we could just get together and discuss about topics that we like. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this, and I I look forward, god damn it, my brain. I look forward to much more of this type of content in the future. So, see you guys later. I love you guys. Peace, peace.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online, my city don't show me no loving.